I'm Belinda Esterhammer. I'm SaaStock's head of APAC, and I'm here today at Mamo Dim Sum in Hong Kong, interviewing Dorothy, co-founder of EngageRocket, who's based in Singapore. Thank you so much for being here today, Dorothy.
Hi, Belinda. Very happy to be here.
So where are you joining us from today?
So I am joining you from my dining room in sunny Singapore, although it's a little bit gloomy outside, and I have a table full of a selection of dim sum that I can't wait to get my fingers on.
Please start digging in. Speaking of dim sum, what's your favorite dim sum?
It's hard to pick one. Char siu bao, I guess that's very common. I like this one here, which is called a spring roll, right? If you can see that.
Yeah. So, and speaking of more like work, what are you planning to achieve this week?
So this week is a big week for us. I mean, we're launching a lot of different things, but I think mainly because we're coming to the close of 2020, which is a very special year. Definitely this year is more. This week, we would like to achieve in terms of locking down some 2021 goals.
So what was your first job?
I was actually a waitress in a Thai restaurant in a town called Brighton, which is an hour drive away from London. I was 16 then.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
I would have to say leaving my job and starting EngageRocket, although it's turned out to be one of the best decisions I've made.
What was the greatest challenge this year?
This year, I stepped into motherhood. So that is definitely a big challenge. I just gave birth to my firstborn 2 months ago. So balancing motherhood and work, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's your, I guess this also answers the question of your proudest achievement of 2020.
Definitely, 100%.
One thing that you learned about yourself this year?
That I can be even more efficient than I already am, and I can take multitasking to the next level, especially after you become a mother.
What's your favorite podcast?
On my free time, I do enjoy listening to Armchair Expert by Dak Shepard.
When you're hiring, what's the most important thing you want to know from new hires?
So when I'm hiring, I like to look out for self-awareness, because I believe that when a candidate is fully aware of his or her own strength, he or she will just apply themselves better.
What's your favorite memory at EngageRocket?
I think that's a toss-up between receiving our first investor check and getting our first hire to say yes.
In a sentence, what's your leadership philosophy?
That would be to care personally and to challenge directly. And if it sounds familiar, that's Radical Candor by Kim Scott.
Thank you. Do you have any tips for somebody who's growing a team?
Absolutely. Hire for not just the role fit, but also for culture fit.
How do you see the future of work? Do you think it's going to be remote, office-based, or hybrid?
I think it's unavoidable. We are definitely moving into a hybrid situation where it's going to be partially remote and partially also going back to the office.
If you were not in SaaS, what industry would you be in?
I love SaaS, so it's hard to imagine otherwise, but the industry actually wouldn't matter that much as long as I'm in a role that allows me to be creative and allows me to work with great people.
Do you have any tips for somebody who's just starting out with their own company?
Yeah, don't give up. Don't doubt yourself so much. Always just be brave and move forward.
What's so different about the SaaS market in Asia Pacific compared to, for example, Europe or US?
I think it takes, it's less mature for sure, and it takes a longer time to really warm up the idea with especially decision makers. But I think customer experience will make a very big difference in the SaaS model here in Asia.
Which entrepreneur do you look up the most?
My dad, my father. He is an entrepreneur for 40 years and counting.
How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a force for change, a force for hope, and I would like to be remembered for my belief in endless possibilities.
Thank you. And wrapping it up, if you could pick anyone in the world, who would you have dim sum with right now?
Can I pick you?
After me?
After you. I would say Camilla Harris.
Thank you so much for being part of this. And I'm so looking forward to your talk. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Belinda.